Before we start greetings for the evening, I like to light the candles because in my household, you were not allowed to say the shut here until the candles were lit. And so I'm going to ask that Molly Keller and Abigail Wasserman and Ruby Wasserman, if she's anywhere around, please come up to light the Shabbat candles for us. I promise you it won't hurt. It's okay to not enjoy being the center of attention. Think about it this way. Everyone's going to watch your mom because she's got the matches. It's fire. Yes. Light first, then we'll say. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher tishanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu le'adlikneh Shel Shabbat. Shabbat. I would like to invite you to take a second to greet someone you have yet had a chance to say hello and Shabbat Shalom to. So feel free to mill a bit. This is the milling part of our program. Wonderful. So Shabbat Shalom. We come together every Friday to do this sort of magical thing. I don't know how many of you have noticed this in your own homes or in your own lives, but for me, once the candles are lit and we have had a chance to pray together, it creates what one of my colleagues at my seminary calls a Shabbat atmosphere. There is something that is different about the Shabbat atmosphere. It's extra, as the kids like to say. There's more, right? And we talk about the double ensoulment, and we have a double portion of challah, and we are encouraged to do things in twos because in Bereshit, it literally says that on the seventh day, Shabbat vayinafash. Shabbat is where we get Shabbat from, but it also means to sit or to rest. And vayinafash literally translates to and was ensouled, as if the resting is what literally brings in the strength of the soul. So I'd like you to just take a second, take a couple of deep breaths, and just breathe in your extra soul. Use your neshima breath to touch your neshama, your soul, your spirit. We're going to start the fun party part of our service. The happy, joyous singing, the let's get into the spirit of being happy on page 130. If your book has brackets, that's 130 in the brackets with the Lamina Lamina. If you've yet to do this tune with us before, I'm going to give you the cheater's guide, and that is that the ooh, ooh, ooh part that we're going to sing at the beginning is the first half of the 2 lines. And so you've already got the tune once you finish that. On page 131, in the bottom paragraph, those first 2 lines, Yismechu hashamayim v'tagel haaretz yiram hayam umlo'o. Even the skies will be happy. The land itself will rejoice, although Tagel also works as party. Enjoy fun. Yiram Hayam, the sea will be lifted on this beautiful day. And I don't know if you know this tune, but it's a fairly common one, so I'm hoping that you do. And if you do, and someone next to you doesn't, help them through. Yismechu hashamayim, hashamayim, yismechu hashamayim, hashamayim, yismechu hashamayim, v'tagel ha'areh. Yismechu hashamayim, hashamayim, yismechu hashamayim, hashamayim, yismechu hashamayim, v'tagel ha'areh. Yiram hayam, yiram hayam, yiram hayam, yiram Yismechu hashamayim, hashamayim, yismechu hashamayim, hashamayim, yismechu hashamayim, v'tagel ha'areh. We have now prayed two songs, one of which says, let's rejoice and sing joyously, and the other of which starts with sing a new song, but then calls in all of nature to join us. And I love doing this in this sanctuary because we have just called all of nature to join us. And it is right there. Just look through the windows, and you have the trees before you. You can see the remnants of the rain. And if you're missing it, you can see the water and the sunshine that is the world around us. The earth and the sky and all of nature have now joined us in our search to find our joy in praising God. Please turn to page 138 for Lecha Dodi. We're going to sing verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. Lecha Dodi li kakala, pene Shabbat avela. Lecha Dodi li kakala, pene Shabbat avela. Shabbat mezacho, b'diburecha bishmiyanu, L'Shem Tiferet L'Tihila Lecha Dodi li kakala, pene Shabbat avela. Likach Shabbat lefurecha, ki imlecho ha'achar merosh miteret nesucha sof na'aseh l'ayim likam. Lecha Dodi li kakala, pene Shabbat avela. Please rise and face the entrance as we literally welcome the bride which we sing. Goyim shalom Am segula, 42. One of the things that I have learned as a person in recovery, I have an eating disorder, for those of you who have not already been told about this. Having a 12-step program, one of the things that I have learned in a 12-step program is this. Angels are God with 2 legs is the same. What does this mean? God comes into our lives very often in the form of other human beings, who push us this way or that way, who hold us when we need holding, who save us at the last second when we least expected such a thing to happen. And so on page 142, as we greet the angels of peace, and as we welcome them in and ask them to bless us, I want you to try and keep in mind somebody who is that God on 2 legs in your life, or has been. Just hold that image for a second. Page 142. Shalom Aleichem, Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mimeh, Malachei Malachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Bochem Shalom, Bochem Shalom, Malachei Elyon, Mimeh, Malachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Shalom Aleichem, Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mimeh, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Baruch Hu Shalom Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Shalom Aleichem, Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mimeh, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Tzedchem Shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon, Mimeh, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Shalom Aleichem, Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mimeh, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. I had the honor this week of having dinner with Anne and Jill Madison. And Jill told me one of the stories that stuck with her from her childhood in religious school that she taught to her students in religious school that I'm going to teach you now. And it's just a sort of a story. Very clearly not a historically factual one. However, in the ancient times, Torah was read on market days. That is actually why we still read it on Shabbat, but also on Mondays and Thursdays. Those are market days. And what's happening in a market? Anybody here been to the shuk in Israel or anywhere else, an open air market? There's people hawking, get your things here, get your this and that here. You know, there's the guy down the fish aisle that you don't want to go down because it smells awful. There are people screaming, hey, get me some tomatoes. I already got you the tomatoes. There's all of that going on. There's a hubbub, a lot of noise. And so she said that she was told the priest would then come out to start the reading and he'd say, okay, everyone, we're gonna do this thing. And everyone would turn and say, okay, we are ready to do the thing with you. And then it's, all right, let's do the thing. And then they would start the reading. That is the origin of call and response, is the way the story goes. It probably is not. I have a feeling it was more like, hey kids, come in, but mom. That's more call and response origins for me, but I now invite you to rise as we do a call and response that, while it calls for you to praise God, is essentially, hey everybody, we're gonna do the thing. Please be seated. Julie, don't be seated. Love it. If you would pick one of these and lead us in it. Page 148 or 149, it all depends on Jody. 149.
Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of the tide of time and light, you guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows.
On page 150, Lauren, or 151. Lauren, would you be willing to do this? 150 or 151, take your pick.
Wisdom and wonder, passion and instruction, story and symbol, all these things your Torah gives to us. And the more we devote ourselves to it, the more it grows and gives. What could be a truer token of your abiding love than this holiest of your works and the living language that gives it form?
Please turn the page for Shema.
בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי בצורך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבביך, ודיברת בם, בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ושוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם אלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם.
I find the prayer service endlessly fascinating, which is probably why I do what I do, I guess. But liturgically speaking, right, all of these things kind of lead into each other. There's a programmatic set of ideas going on here. And what we did was we started with, Havaraba, God, you love us, and then we go to the Shema, and then afterwards we sing Ve'ahavta, right, which is we have to love God. So this has to be a reciprocal relationship. But having set that up, we can then do the next thing. And the next thing is the song that we sang at the sea. What does this tell us? I think it tells us that we need to know that from our very core of being, from our source, we are all worthy of love. We need to then take that and use it to understand that we are part of one great unity, an echad, which, by the way, Aleph in Hebrew is both one and infinity. In fact, Aleph is used in the field of mathematics to represent infinity. And then when we add our love to that equation, we come to a point of redemption. So please join me on page 158 for our great phrase.
מי כמוך אלוהים אדוני, מי כמוך נדב בקודש, נורתי עושה בלב, מלכותך ובעליך, בוקר הים לפני שהוא פריים, זרי Adonai lo ne'elam ba'ed, Adonai lo ne'elam ba'ed, Adonai le'olam ba'ed. ונאמר כי פדת את יעקב, וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני, God Israel.
Please turn to page 160. Christy, would you come up and read something either on 160 or 161 for us? I am picking on my choir. It's not something you're imagining.
Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up, waiting to do your will.
Baruch atah Adonai, הפורס סוכת שלום עלינו ועל כל עמו ישראל ועל ירושלים. The Amidah, which literally, by the way, means the standing. The name for it in the book is tefillah, which literally means prayer. So great, standing prayer. This tells us a lot about that one, right? The Amidah is both a moment in which we can raise our voices together. Neuroscience and cardiology, I believe, tell us that when we do this, when we raise our voices together, a couple of things happen. First of all, our hearts regulate.
גומר חסדים טובים וקונה הכל וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם למען שמו באהבה נחוזר מושיע ומבין ברוך אתה אדוני מגן אברהם ושק שמח אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני מחיי הכל אתה להושיע, מוריד אתה, מחכה חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל לרחמים רבים, צומח נופלים ורופא חולים, ומציל אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשניה. מי כמוך בנבואות ומדור אלמה מלך נביא ומחייך ומצמיח ישועה למען אתה לחיות הכל ברוך אתה אדוני מחייך הכל אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך בסלע, ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש.
Please feel free to read or simply meditate on your own until you are completely done. Take your time. I'll see you on the other side on page 180.
Adonai Tzuri V'Yoali. Oh, may the words of my mouth, the meditations of my heart be acceptable before you. Oh God, my rock and my redeemer. Ose shalom b'chomat, uyase shalom ve'amor Yisrael, ve'imnehu, amen.
In every service, in every place where Jews pray, we take a moment to think of those around us who are suffering. Those whose suffering is emotional, those whose suffering is physical. And by the way, medicine currently is coming to the point where it understands that mental and physical suffering are in no way disparate from each other. That people who can't feel one will feel the other in extremes a lot of times. That a lot of things like chronic disease are the outcome of not being allowed to feel one's feelings and to hurt in the way that one is supposed to hurt. But we want to think about both those members of our community who are in need of healing and their loved ones. If at this point you would like to put a name in the chat if you're joining us on Zoom, we'll get to that in a second too. Our temple members in need of healing include April Delmato, Norma Diamond, Josh Lipschutz, Mark Warner, Eric Mann, Larry Pepper, Froman Davis, Alan Myers, Joan Shapiro Green, Bonnie Stoddard, and Judy Salkoff. And our loved ones include Barak Yaakov ben Avram B'Sara, Tamar bat Rachel, Moshe ben Rachel, Harav Chaim ben Leah, Jill Lakar, Connie Ambrosino, Mickey Bart, Louise Kaplan, Michelle Rusinko, Joanne Prisculo, Jack Dog, Bart Young, Mark Osterreicher, Matthew Pincus, Sydney Scher, Soraya Casey, Marvin Goldberg, John Van Steenbergen, Shirley Hirsch, Saffron Castle, Monica Capoziello, Phoebe Apgar, Phoebe Williams, Jordan Lustig, Paul Frisman, Bruce Petroff, Stephanie Marr Smith, Raymond Wolf, Kim Weeder, Tim Marr, Ben Peck, Marion Macon, Martha Potter, Mark Potter, Paulma Pam Posey, Gloria Newell, Sabine Meyer, Carol Bartlett, Adrian Wasserman, Tina Silitker, Marnie Katz, Trevor Jones, Peter David, Aaron Ordiver, Kevin Susi, Emily Berry, Ira Weiss, Joan and Myron Katz, Dee Rosenberg Bravo, Davis Chamberlain, and Maureen Victor. Are there any others in need of prayers for healing at this time? Elaine Berman,
Gene Sullivan,
Jean Sullivan, Lynn Westerhoff. I'm sorry, Carol Robin, Pat Masori. Are there names in the chat? And do you have leftovers of those sheets?
Marcine Marcuse, I think. I hope that I've pronounced that correctly, Brandon.
No, that's not right. That's Andrea. No, that's, okay. Totally lost track. Do you have the next one? No? No, okay. I'm supposed to know what to read. Avraham, Yitzchak, veYaakov. Mishavech imotenu, Sarah, Rivka, Leah, veRachel. May the one bless our mothers. May the one bless our fathers. Hear our prayer. Hear our prayer. Hear our prayer. And bless us as well. Bless us with the power of your healing. Bless us with the power of your hope. May our hearts be filled with understanding and strengthened by the power of your love. Mishavech avotenu, Avraham, Yitzchak, veYaakov. Mishavech imotenu, Sarah, Rivka, Leah, veRachel. May the one who bless our mothers, may the one who bless our fathers, hear our prayer. Hear our prayer. Hear our prayer. Hear our prayer. And bless us as well. Thank you. So my cue sheet says Dvar, and then it has my name. This is the point at which I give a Dvar Torah. But not only is it a time at which I give a Dvar Torah, this week's portion is called, ready? Yeah, Devarim. Okay, so I've spent this entire day ruminating, thanks to my Torah study partner, about the word davar, the root dalet vet resh. And this is partly because I'm a language person, and you don't get an English PhD without being one, I suppose. And partly because Hebrew is kind of wonky on this. But it's also really interesting connections. Davar means speech. The most common sentence in the Torah. God spoke to Moshe saying, Davar means thing, that is matter, right? Hadavar is it, this thing I'm looking at. And so words matter. And in fact, if we look at Genesis, words literally create matter. God speaks the world into being. And so then the question comes, why is it that devil, which comes from the same root, means pestilence? It's one of the 10 plagues. Dam Spaldea, devil Shrein, right? Why? Why is it telling us? And I think I sort of have begun to understand. I think that part of what the Torah is telling us is that language does matter, that words literally do matter, and that we can create with our words and we can destroy with our words. We can build trust with our words, and we can destroy an entire human psyche with our words. We can negate using language, or we can accept using language. So we have this really powerful thing going on here. And then if you read the portion, it's Moshe telling the story of the people to the people. I am under no illusion that he thought they didn't know. Spoke to my Torah study partner about this because she's a mother and I am not. I'm a teacher, which makes me, I feel, a sort of mother to hundreds and hundreds of kids. But God was wise enough to not give me any of my own. And I asked her, this feels to me in this moment when Moshe is retelling them what they've been through, like that last second of a parent letting go of a child who is headed on to the next big adventure. My father's words to me when I left for the US Naval Academy, along with handing me a journal, was, take 10 minutes to write every day. Remember that this is a process, and always remember that this is not who you are. I think maybe he understood I really shouldn't go to the military, but he knew that basic was going to be really hard for me, that getting yelled at and pushed to my absolute limits was going to be a challenge. And he wanted me to both hold on to it in the sense of remembering who I was and hold on to it in the sense of writing it down, putting it into words so that I could later reflect on it. And I think that's what Moshe is doing in this particular Parsha. He's telling the Jewish people, I know that you're going to go and do this thing, and I know that sometimes it's going to fail, but don't fail. I know that this is going to be hard and it's going to hurt you sometimes, but don't hurt. I know that this is going to be amazing, but don't get lost in the amazing. He's kind of giving them these last moment words for how to interact in his absence. And why? I don't think that we actually talk about Moshe's humility. It's not that he thought he was the end all be all. I think it's because he understood that he was a physical representative of God in a way that no other leader was going to be. And so he wanted to give a little piece of himself before he left. And interestingly, we have Moshe doing things in 40 days and 40 nights all over the Torah, right? And we also have Noah with 40 days and 40 nights. There's a whole bunch of 40 days, 40 nights all over the Torah. In this particular case, he starts doing this 37 days before his death. And numbers are not usually incidental in the Torah. So I, of course, started looking up, searching, what does 37 mean? And 37 can mean a lot of things, I'm sure. But the one that I landed on that I absolutely loved is that the gematria of Haggadah, that is the story that we speak, the Hagid also means to speak, on Pesach is 37. Moshe was speaking his hopes of the future of the people of Israel, which they were about to become, into being. He was trying to use his last words to create and make sure not to destroy. I think that we can take from that the importance of parting on literally good terms, recognizing the beauty and the challenges of the processes that we've been through, and finding ways to use all of that to move forward and create in positive. Shabbat shalom. Toby. I have, oh no, it's not you, it's Marlene. I spoke to Marlene earlier today. I don't know why it says Toby on here. I love you, Toby. I'm gonna call her in the announcements.
Shabbat shalom, everyone. Warm welcome to any guests here with us tonight. My name is Marlene Schwartz, and I'm a member of the board of directors. So here are all the things that are coming up at TBT, and all of the links to either join the meetings or sign up for anything, they're all in your inbox. So tomorrow morning, please join us at 9 a.m. on Zoom for Torah study led by Dr. C. Next week, save the dates for a community Tisha B'Av observance on July 26th and a special Shabbat on July 28th, led by Rabbi Offner, Stu Weinzimmer, and Julia Ambrosino, who will assist with a special welcome service for Levi Ross, and services will be followed by a potluck dinner. Please sign up to bring an entree, dessert, or beverage. Kolomi is making sure we have lots and lots of opportunities to be outside. If you like hiking, please contact Lisa Harding. If you love Lawrence Sturman. The next garden tour is this Sunday at 4 p.m. Space is limited, so please RSVP. Are you looking for a way to celebrate a milestone or honor a loved one? Consider sponsoring a Shabbat outing. It's fun to do with friends, and the Religious Activities Committee will help you with the details. Please contact Lydia at the TBT office at office@tbtshoreline.org if you're interested. Parents of religious school students, please remember to send in your religious school registration forms to the office. And TBT is looking for more members to join the TBT choir. No previous experience is required. Bring your enthusiasm and excitement, and we will provide the rest. The choir meets Tuesdays at 6:15 here in the sanctuary. And finally, I would like to take a moment personally to thank you, Dr. C, for a beautiful service tonight and for beautiful services all year long. Jeff and I really have come to a lot of services this year, and we've loved spending Friday nights with you. So thank you for all of you, all that you have done to make our beautiful services. And I would now like to actually pass the floor out to Lauren. You should sit. And thank you. We are very grateful for this last year of you sharing. Ellsworth has never told me I needed a microphone. How's that? We, as a congregation and as a choir, are very grateful for the gifts that you brought us this year. And some of them have been absolutely magical. We also, as a community and a choir, wish you much joy as you journey on. And with that in mind, I'd like to call on the choir.
See, we were here early, and so we changed the key on them. We belong to a land show you. Let me come to a place you do not know. Let me come on your journey, I will bless you. You shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing. Let me come. And I shall make your name great. Let me come, and all shall praise your name. Let me come to the place that I will show you. Simchat Hayim, Simchat Hayim. Simchat Hayim, let me come. You shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing. Let me come. And there is a small token of our regard for you. How take more good stuff to come.
and she said that, not very late, the candle. She said that, you know, we brought some magical things I was waiting for, and also some crazy ones. Because I think we have a lot of fun as a choir. Great, now I have to recombobulate myself. Please turn to page 595. It is a fearful thing to love what death can touch. Fearful thing to love, hope, dream, to be and hope to lose. Think for fools this, and a holy thing to love. For your life has lived in me, your laugh once lifted me, your word was gift to me. To remember this brings a painful joy. 'Tis a human thing, love, a holy thing, to love what death has touched. We are currently in Shivan Shloshim for Erica, known as Ricky Garfine, mother of Jessica Garfine Miller and of Brendan Miller. Alfred Aaron Lynn, father of David and Janet Lynn. We also have your sites for Hyman Siegel, Nettie Dolgo, Morton Silverstein, Ed Steinlauf, Lillian Katenik, Harriet Ringgold, Gertrude Myers, Marilyn Schneider, Abner Krug, Stuart Kindman, Sharon Reed, and Harry Karasov. Are there any others?
John Katz.
John Katz.
Ida.
So sorry.
Ida Usher.
Ida Usher. Ned Baskov. And Finkel. Is there anyone on Zoom who has the art site who would like to share? No, but thank you, Judy. Please rise for the Morning's Cottage. On page 598. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, בעולמה יברח יוטה וימליך מלכותה, בחיי חון ובימי חון ובחיי לכל בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב, אמן. יהי שמי רבה וברך לעולם ולעולמי עולמיה, יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתהלל ויתהלל ושמי בקודשה ובריחו. לעילה מכל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבתה ונחמתה תאמינה לעולם ולעולם. יהי שלמה רבה משמיא, וחיים עלינו כל ישראל ולכל אמן. עושה שלום לבמה, הוא יעשה שלום, עלינו ועל כל ישראל. Amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us and to all of Israel and to all the peoples of the world, to which we say, Amen. Please be seated. We are going to do Kiddush and Motziah in the social hall, so please turn to page 631 for our closing song, En Keloheinu, no como nuestro Dios. En Keloheinu, en Kadoneinu, en Kemoteinu, en Kemoshienu, non como vuestro Dios, non como vuestro Señor, non como vuestro Rey, non como vuestro Salvador. Mi Eloheinu, mi Eloheinu, mi Eloheinu, mi Eloheinu,
Signore, che como vuestro Rey, que como vuestro Salvador. No te lo reino, no te lo dominio, no te lo manqueno, no te lo moshireino. Lo haremos a vuestro Dios, lo haremos a vuestro Señor, lo haremos a vuestro Rey, lo haremos a vuestro Salvador. Baruch Eloheinu, Baruch Adonai, Baruch Malkeinu, Baruch Moshiach. Bendito vuestro Dios, bendito vuestro Señor, bendito vuestro Rey, bendito vuestro Salvador. Atahu Eloheinu, Atahu Adonai, Atahu Malkeinu, Atahu Moshiach. Tú sos nuestro Dios, tú sos nuestro Señor, tú sos nuestro Rey, tú sos nuestro Salvador.
I told you we were calling nature to join us. The trees are dancing. The clouds have begun. We've got thunder joining in the drumming. I think we got what we asked for. Please join us all in the sanctuary for Kiddush.
We all